In 2022, Lesotho took a bold gamble. Tired of the same old political shenanigans and charades, the nation placed all bets and hopes on a newcomer, Sam Matekane, a self-made billionaire and businessman promising a clean break. 3 years in, the cracks have widened, discontent is growing, and the illusion we were sold has collapsed. Now, an uncomfortable question cuts through the optimism. Is Sam Matekane a genuine reformer, or is he a master of illusion who spoke the language of change? This is In Perspective, and I'm your host, Tladiphile Bita. Matekane's arrival on the political stage was spectacular. Against the backdrop of deep-seated disillusionment, Matekane, an outsider, presented himself as a complete opposite of the traditional politicians we know and love. He wasn't part of the system. He was a builder, a man who understood how to create lasting success in the business world. And he vowed to apply the same pragmatism in fixing Lesotho's broken political machine. The promise wasn't just reform. It was a complete overhaul. Matekane wasn't stepping onto a blank canvas. He was walking into a system that wasn't simply mismanaged, but was in some ways engineered to fail. And once you're inside that system, you're faced with a brutal choice. Change it or let it change you. Added to this was a crippling 6.1 billion fiscal deficit, a legacy of corruption that permeates institutions, and a deep-seated public cynicism born from decades of unfulfilled promises. Matekane stepped into a complex web of systemic issues that run far deeper than mere individual leadership failures. The question was never just about his intentions, but whether any single leader could dismantle a structure seemingly designed for self-preservation and survival. Matekane's proposed solution was ambitious, a 20-point action plan and blueprint aimed at tackling corruption, streamlining the government, and revitalizing the economy. On paper, it seemed unbreakable. He spoke of meritocracy over patronage, fiscal discipline over wasteful spending, and attracting foreign investment to create thousands of jobs. Yet the path to implementation has been laden with controversy after controversy, scandal after scandal of corruption, political patronage, growing concerns of human rights abuses, the worst food crises Lesotho has witnessed in years, secrecy and stagnation. There's also a controversial 184 million airport refurbishment contract allegedly awarded corruptly, and the extension of loans to companies that did not meet lending criteria, such as a 2 million loan to Lucas Manufacturing and a 10 million loan to Duty Free Sourcing Incorporated, raising questions about misuse of powers by his cabinet ministers. Matekane has remained largely silent on the corruption issues, failing to hold implicated ministers accountable. His response has been as inadequate, raising concerns about his ability to decisively tackle corruption. But reports of interference in tender processes still persist. Key reforms appear to be stalling in Parliament, and perhaps most concerning, there are growing rifts within his own RFP party, with members denouncing his leadership, voicing concerns over his dictatorial tendencies, incompetence, broken promises, and lack of tangible progress. This echoes a pattern we've seen before in Lesotho's history, with new faces promising change, only to be consumed by the very system they vowed to dismantle and rebuild. These aren't just minor setbacks, they are alarming cracks in the foundation of governance itself. A pivotal moment that throws a sharp light onto the complexities of Matekane's leadership is the increasing concern over the role of security forces. Accusations of the military setting up roadblocks on the road to the National Assembly, effectively restricting access and intimidating members of parliament. This, coupled with the alarming disappearance of sensitive security equipment, raises serious questions about the commitment to democratic principles and the rule of law. This echoes the very instability that has plagued Lesotho for decades, and a cycle of power struggles disguised as democracy. These are just some isolated incidents that signal a troubling shift in governance and a reliance on the very tactics that have undermined Lesotho's progress for so long. Sam Matekane's arrival ignited a spark of hope in a nation weary of disappointment. Hope is powerful. It can propel nations forward, ignite movements, and convince people that change is not only possible, but inevitable. We witnessed this firsthand when citizens of Lesotho united to deny Prime Minister Pakarita Musisidi another term in office. We saw it again when Tom Thabane, once celebrated as a reformist, was eventually forced to resign amid scandal after scandal and unrest. The hope people placed in him grew into frustration, and the pressure became too great to ignore. These weren't just political moments. They were moments of proof. Proof that when Basotho believe, organize, and act, the system, flawed as it is, has no choice but to yield. And that right there is the power of hope. Sam Matekane promised to be a leader who could finally break Lesotho from its historical shackles. But now, today, the promises have evaporated and the illusion we were sold has crumbled. His administration was supposed to usher in an era of clean governance, secure prosperity, and restore trust in leadership. But instead, it has led Lesotho to a critical juncture. The economy is buckling under the weight of mismanagement. Corruption is more entrenched than ever, and the government is fracturing under the strain of its own contradictions. So what now? Does Lesotho simply wait for the cycle to repeat itself, placing its faith in another charismatic figure promising change, clinging to the desperate hope that next time will be different? 3 years later, Lesotho must ask itself this uncomfortable question. Is Sam Matekane a genuine reformer, or was he just another master of illusion who simply spoke the language of change? Share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe and like this video to keep the conversation going. Thank you, and see you in the next episode.